Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Banner. As soon as I start the show, I see two things this morning. One is I'm naked without my banner running across my nether regions. It might have to be... Actually, yes, could you please, if I tell you what's going to be on the show this morning, can you please summarize that? Send me a message on WhatsApp and then I'll cut and paste it into the banner. That would be awesome if you can help me with that. And let me just pull back a little bit. Who doesn't like to pull back? First thing in the morning. There we go. And down a bit. No, up a bit, up a bit. There we go. You can see the on-air light as well. And let's zoom in a little more. There we go. How are you this morning? Do let me know. I'm asking you, Michael, Jean van Groningen. Do you have the name? Not only have we turned your name Joan into Jean for Portuguese purposes, I think you have the name of an international woman of mystery, John van Groningen there. How are you this morning, Joan? Good to see you on that call with Steve the other night. Deagle's in, Pete's in, the old guy in Europe also with us, as is Antonio F., who's just recently updated over his crime files at the Portugal Club and also Portuguese sayings of the day. I'll share his latest with you in just a moment. The Portuguese is going to be joining me in a few minutes as well. All out nuclear war. Get it? I know it's a bit off, isn't it, making jokes about the somewhat tetchy nuclear situation. But what else can we do but laugh and have a bit of fun? And that's exactly what we're going to do with the Portugeezer this morning, whose recent videos, and you might want to quiz him about these. There's an update on the 20,000 steps a day. There's from 20,000 steps to 2,000 meters above Portugal. I guess if you keep doing 20,000 steps, you could well end up 2,000 meters above Portugal. Covilhã, he's been there. There's a central Portugal city walk. That's him in Covilhã. Training day, walking with shelter dogs. I mean, it is nothing but diverse, this man, in his content. Over there. He's all about the diversity, certainly of content. Peaches for me, peach harvest. No euphemism intended there. And the review of the peaches harvesting over in central Portugal, like angels dancing on my tongue. Yes, Portuguese fruit, gotta love it. Pretty Pepper, walking with the shelter dogs, part 2. And the most boring video he's ever made. Come and get bored with us. That's is this the most boring video? The art of doing very little. I'm particularly interested in that one. A test drive of the Honda Blackbird. Creepy abandoned observatory. This is only half his content, I think, in a whole month. Loads over there at the Portugeezer on YouTube. 5 essential facts about me. The law of 5. Both the Portugeezer and I were involved, name checked in a video by Louise yesterday. Expat 50 solo plus 50, expat solo plus 50. Louise name checked us both in her top 5 tips for moving to Portugal. So that was a great moment for us both. That external third-party validation, and in a good way, I should add. Coach Turner also in this morning, I see, and has anyone joined us when my back was turned? The Deagle, good morning to you with your bon dia from a blue sky. Belfast, 12 degrees, should hit 18 degrees, approximately 36 to 40 hours, constant rain Monday night till Wednesday afternoon. You've got 36-hour nights. I know it feels like it when it's raining all night. It does feel like 36 hours, doesn't it? I see, from Monday night until Wednesday afternoon. But our skin is waterproof in Belfast. We need some of that. here in Portugal. Oh yeah, don't mention the days of sunshine when the Portuguese is on. Okay, let's just keep that quiet. And at around 9:30, that musical man Mountain will be joining us. It's those magnificent musical men this morning. Brani will be joining us at 9:30, and we'll play his new single as well. And I imagine the Portugeeza will be strumming gently in the background on his uke while Brani's single is played. Bon the Alegria from Marcus PT Country Bear as well. Good morning to you, the bear. How are you doing this morning? Without further ado, let's have some ado on the screen. I think he might be playing from the get-go. He is clutching his axe, everybody. Let's give him a nice big round of applause and bring him onto the screen.
Bom dia, Portugal. Yeah, how is everybody doing? How's everybody doing? You know, it's funny because I was thinking about the ukulele because yesterday you were talking about ukulele. When did I hear that? Someone was talking about having ukulele jams, or
yeah. Well, I think you popped a comment onto the screen, and
yeah,
that prompted me to say, come over to San Martino, where Josh is a big fan and a great player. In fact, when I first met him here in San Martino and he came to the meetup for the first time, he brought his ukulele and he jammed with Don, who was strumming on his mandolin, and they made beautiful music together.
Wow, excellent.
Great sound.
Because I tell you a funny thing. When I and probably from watching movies like it, I don't know if it's a bit of a cheek flick, but you know, it's my secret. What do you call it?
Guilty secret.
Guilty secret.
Bridget Jones.
Well, I think it was Love Actually.
I was going to say that was going to be my next guest.
Where they had the Portuguese scene, you know, and they've turned up at the restaurant, and it's a very typical Portuguese restaurant where there was kind of like, you know, a band just playing away in the background. But the problem is, actually, you don't see. I mean, I thought every cafe I popped into, I'd be able to pull my guitar or my uke out and just start jamming. But actually, no, and quite often just the radio's on, you know.
Or
and
CNN.
So that was a bit of a yeah.
The TV.
So that or the football.
Yes, quite rightly. Well done, England. England.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited, man.
Oh come on, what's up with you?
Well, do you know? Listen to me. I've got this theory about England. I the problem with England.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Right? How long have you got?
Right, listen. From my experience, because obviously I grew up in Australia, so we have got our own version of football over there. So I was never that interested. I didn't really get into it. But what I became aware of year after year, and why I feel sorry for English people, of whom I am one, is England is about the 7th or 8th best team in the world.
Right.
And in a way, you're better off being 30th best.
Yeah.
Because it's torture. Because it's torture, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, look, I hope that maybe they do have a chance. It's like not a very good chance, but I mean, there's a chance because they're there, right? They're there, aren't they?
This is the problem. So many people now, like, well, let's not talk about how I was.
Carl, you know you can't say it. You can't.
I can't say what.
You know what you can't say. You can't. You can't. You can't. Wait.
I think that's a ridiculous phrase anyway, isn't it? I mean, what does that mean? I mean, like it's been borrowed like a cup of sugar, and
well, I think that's what bothers me. I can't believe we're talking. This is amazing.
Why not? Come on,
I don't know.
It's a big thing. I mean, I'm going to keep you on football because this needs to be dealt with as well. The BBC have responded following criticism over their Cristiano Ronaldo caption during the Euros. I don't know. And I don't know why they're apologizing. Is that casual racism? I don't know what happened there. I think that's hilarious. I suspect Portuguese
never apologize. Never apologize. That's what you do. Just move. People haven't got the attention span to remember this stuff. Everyone's got TikTok.
Well, they do, and I remind them about it. But
yeah. But you know, the thing with the football, right? This is the thing. I don't know how it is now. It could have changed. But when I was growing up, like in Australia, for example, the big club in my state was the West Coast Eagles, right?
Yeah.
And Johnny Worsfold, who was the captain of the West Coast Eagles, also worked in the pharmacy where I lived. Perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they have a rule. It's a salary cap.
Yeah.
And also you can't every year a certain amount of players are randomly mixed up, and also if you have players from overseas, not overseas, that doesn't exist, from different states, because Australia's like that, it's got different states.
But that, so they feel
they
like
have
so
they have to kind of
state,
they have to make some kind of commitment to live in the state. Does that make sense? So buy a house or something.
Yeah.
Whereas when I went to England, I remember one of the first matches I watched was, I think it was Manchester City versus someone, and I remember being amazed because 10 of the players were internationals, and one of them wasn't from Manchester, and I thought, I don't understand how you can go, oh, Manchester. What does it even? It's meaningless. The company, it's a company. Yes. It's a company, and I think the company is even owned by not an English company. Right. So what I mean is, what are you supporting? So, for example, in Australian football, there's a clear path from your district.
Yes.
So where I lived was Swan District. So from school, the football team you were in. And sometimes the state players were like this, like the first division, let's say, and those guys you'd meet them. Do you know what I mean? And they were looking for players to go up. And then when you played in the state, then they're looking for players to go up into the what's the first division there, the AFL.
Yeah.
So there's a clear path, and you can support people, and you can go, yeah, I went to school with his brother.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I understand your far-right sporting sentiment.
Oh, my God, of course. I can't believe it. Literally Hitler. Yeah.
Making everything traditional and local again in sport. Now, the big assumption here, I think... Oh, hold on a minute. Let's bathe in the glory of this. Come on. Congrats, Carl. You were dead on. Thank you. I won't go on about it. England moves on. Your projection for the finals. We're going to win. We are going to beat Spain in the most exciting final ever for a long time.
And you know what? Even if we win, it won't be exciting. It won't.
This is the problem. This is the problem. And I feel very sorry for one shouldn't feel too sorry for any professional footballer. They're going to be okay, aren't they? They are not exactly. What? They're going to be okay. But the way... Have you muted your muttering and chuntering in the background? I can't hear you anymore. You don't want to speak to me. Are you saying you don't want to talk about football anymore?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes. Thank you for rejoining the conversation.
I said something about... not feeling sorry for people who get paid millions for kicking a sack.
Exactly. But there are this is what you do. There you are. You're producing 5 videos a day, and you're throwing ideas and suggestions into the mass consciousness. Even in that little exchange we've just had there are so many things I want to pick up on. One of them being, and we can come back to why I feel sorry for English footballers, which I'm sure nobody wants to talk about anyway. So we needn't come back to that. But there was a presumption, an assumption in your conversation that things might make sense. Aren't those the times we're living in where that is the great big investigation, inquiry of our time? Things aren't. I don't know about whether they're meant to make sense, but things don't really make sense at the moment, do they? So I completely understand why you would expect a football team called Manchester United to be a bunch of men united around the idea of Manchester, maybe growing up there, or at least having a relative or a house there. But no, it's nothing like that.
Yeah. What are they doing for Manchester? That's what I want to know. The money seems to be going offshore. The players are all from abroad and presumably going back. And then the worst thing is, in the big competitions, they're the ones who are stopping us from winning the big competitions as well, aren't they?
Who's doing this now?
Those international players, right? Half the teams that beat England in the big competitions are full of Premier League players, aren't they?
Well, if we cut straight to the chase here, I guess, and the essence of this conversation is that once you scratch the surface of pretty much anything, it doesn't make sense anymore, and it's all made up. And we're learning to cope with that, aren't we? And some of us are losing.
Well, I cope with it very easily. I just don't look at it. I'm literally not
It is one
interested.
approach. It is one approach.
Because people, I think people just lose their lose their shit. I'm not going to say that, but lose their mind.
Yes,
they lose their mind over it. You know, I heard a statistic. I don't know if it's true, but apparently, spousal abuse goes up when England lose. I mean, that might happen in all countries for all teams, but I heard, for example, in England,
it wouldn't surprise
reports of spousal abuse go up when. I mean, how can you be that invested in it? It literally has no impact on you, you know.
Well, again, you ask a very good question, and you could extend this. I mean, we could easily get into politics, couldn't we? About if we're asking whether things make sense and whether the original purpose, perhaps, of these things is being met and delivered. I'm not. I think these are the times we're living in, where if you look too harsh.
Well, but that was some good news we had, wasn't it? Labour getting in because everything's going to change and be better now, isn't it?
Do you want?
I don't know.
I'm going to make a short of that because you held that together beautifully for at least 5 seconds there. Let's not go to politics.
Yeah, let's not. I got you, an old guy. We're on.
Come on! And now it's there. Now it's the elephant in this conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, someone's going to take us there. We know that.
Well, right. I was just thinking before because I was just strumming the old uke before.
Yes, coming back to your gentle
came in, and it was just funny because it just reminded me of misheard lyrics, right?
Yes.
And I, for some reason, I've got I had Summer of '69 over Bryan Adams, and I thought, and I hadn't thought about Bryan Adams for a long time, and then I had a go at that song.
Funnily enough,
but it was. I just realised this weird. It's a song I probably haven't thought about for 20 years, but it's that Heaven by Bryan Adams.
No, it's like you play a bit. I'll
I've been waiting for so long. For something to arrive, you know the one?
Yeah.
For love to come along. And then I realized it's terrible. It's a real indictment on the way I think. It's like, now our dreams are coming true. And the lyric is through the good times and the bad. You know what?
Lighter.
But I thought it said, now our dreams are coming true. Through the kitchen to the bed.
Is that not right?
No. That's just my dream. Through the kitchen to the bed.
With clothes on the floor like an 80s movie.
Yeah. So it's it's the good times and the bad, not the kitchen to the bed.
Well, well, either it would work, and when you go on tour of the clubs, I think you should change the lyrics, and they will be very popular with people. And it is an act, isn't it? If you were to go into the dark side of 80s lyrics, which I mentioned to Heather, who was on the show yesterday, that you and I were quite shocked when we analysed some of the lyrical content of 80s classics, and she's like, "Oh, it's like, oh, shut up, you woke idiot!" Like, that
yeah.
I mean, not that she speaks to me like that, but that was the undercurrent, and I'm with her, to some extent. That it is only, it is only a song. What her basic point, as far as I could tell yesterday, was like, take me back to that time. There may have been dark undercurrents in the songs, but they were in the songs, and I think my inference,
you belong to me.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to go to sleep because I miss you, babe. Just going to stare at you all night while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things. Now, if we can keep that in the songs,
even before the 80s, Roy Orbison. I drove all night.
Let's not go back to that.
Crept into your bed while you were asleep to make love to you. I think it's the lyric from
rock and roll. Is does not again. If you look too hard, you're going to be shocked, and you're going to.
I just noticed them now because I'm often, if I don't know the chords to a song, I look them up on Ultimate Guitar or something, and they have the lyrics, and I think, Jesus, I never really. And also because you're reading them slower, you go, wow, I can't believe they said that actually.
Well, they did, and this is what we're realizing now. And as ever, I think the important thing is to have conversation about it, isn't it? not to come to some sort of summary judgment or use it as a political hobby horse, but to have an intelligent conversation, which is what you and I think, what we try and do each time you're on your month. We do get distracted, it has to be said, and I think we've been distracted already 27 times during just this first 15 minutes or so of conversation.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably my fault, Carl. I mean, I've had friends tell me that this is a difficulty they have having a conversation with me, is that I go off on tangents.
I look forward to it. I apologize to anyone who's tuned in to see something specific that I might have mentioned that you might talk about. But apart from that, I'm all for it, quite frankly. So,
I usually have a little list of just like vague stuff, just to try and bring me back.
So what's on that list then? What is the first thing on that list today?
Well, the first one I wanted to speak about was because I made a little live video yesterday, but about my 20,000 step thing, because I was interested to show people, because I walked from there's a walk I quite often do if the weather's nice, which is from my village to the next village and back, and I just tried to show on the video the distance to help people understand what 20,000 steps actually means, because I was trying to show them that if I walk to my next village and back, I've only done 14,000 steps. So I've still got 6,000 steps to go. Okay. And I'm not sure, but I wondered if I could, I try to put it in perspective so you can understand it. If I walk from San Martino to Porto.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll kind of tone it. I'll try to simplify it.
If you could dumb it down so that even I could understand it, that'd be great. Thank you.
If I walk from San Martino de Porto to Nazaré, I've still got 2,000 steps to go.
That's ridiculous. See?
Yeah, so that's how far I walk every day. Yeah.
And you're still doing that, are you?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, James, by the way, for the ticket.
I love it.
So are you, and you're still managing to create so much content. And I see what you've done though, because when you did your walking tour of UKE-lear, that would have been included in your steps, would it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I said, do you know what it was? Because I wasn't obviously measuring steps before I started doing the 20,000. So I probably was doing a bit before, but the thing you got to really understand if you're considering doing the 20,000 steps is it's a lot, So like when I walk around UKE-lear, okay, that was some steps, but that was probably like 1,000. Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, there are definitely things that make an impact. Solo Life Portugal, that's for sure. Yeah, okay. that make a little difference. But I've found generally for me, 20,000 steps takes 3 hours.
Right, and you've committed to that for how long now?
Let's see, getting on a month and a half.
And what effect has it? Because this is actually mentioning whether we stay on topic or not. This was the topic last time, and I don't think we did get around to talking about it. And as James says here, relying on something specific on the GMP. Are you crazy? So to put the record straight then, I'm not sure I asked you why you were doing it and what you hope the result would be. So we can do that now. Are you getting the result you wanted from doing 20,000 steps a day?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there wasn't just one thing, right? It's usually like that. There was a few things that led up to it. So I think I mentioned before, not to spend too much time on the origins, but obviously COVID came. I became an online worker, sitting down, put on a lot of weight, posture started to suffer. Went to the doctor. Oh, you got really high blood pressure. You're pre-diabetic. I'm turning 52 this month. All those other things. Have you ever seen any fat old people? Got people to support? No, you know what I mean. And everything just came to a head, and I thought, right, I've got to sort this out, right? And it's just my nature. When I do something, I fucking do it. You know what I mean? I never.
It's a bit slow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I never start anything and don't go all in and hardcore, right? So a lot of people.
Fair enough.
They said, do 5,000 steps and work you out. So I'm like, nah, straight into it, 20,000. And I'm gonna have to go see the doctor this month, because now they put me on medication for the blood pressure and said you probably have to be on that for life. And really? It got me to like the high end of normal. and I'm already at the low end of normal. So it's definitely reversing the blood pressure problem. So I'm probably going to have to go see the doctor and maybe get that medication cut in half and try and tweak it.
He won't recognize you. He will not recognize you when you walk in.
I'm confident. Well, I think people who see me every day haven't really noticed much. Like I asked my kids, I said, "Can you see any difference?" They're like,
yeah,
you know. But I mean, the reality is, I've lost 10% of my body weight, so it should be noticeable.
Incredible.
And that wasn't really why I started doing it. It was for weight loss, but actually, it's enough that I feel lighter. You know, and when you think about it, it's like two 6-liter cases of milk, isn't it? I've lost, isn't it?
It is quite good.
You feel it, you know. I feel lighter, and like I think, oh my god, it's like 20,000 steps. It's difficult, and it takes up such a lot of time, but the impact has been so profound that it's worth it, you know.
I'm really pleased for you. That's great. And if people want to find out more, they can do that on your videos that are specifically about the results that you've had with that.
Yeah, you can speak to me about it, because I really also want to say to people, like, if you're interested in doing it, it's kind of like, it doesn't compare to quitting smoking, but it's the same in the way there's a really hard part in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like where it's painful. Do you get me? Like it hurts, your feet hurt, and you're tired for the whole rest of the day. But after about 2 weeks, you get through that. Yeah. And what's been quite astonishing for me is how quickly my body has said, it's like my body's saying, "Thanks, man.
Let's do this. Yeah.
Here you go. Feel young again. That's your reward." And it's coming back really quickly. Like I feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I've got so much energy and strength again that quickly, you know.
Amazing. So, go Geezer, says Coach.
Super positive. Yeah.
Well, hats off to you. Great job. I think it's fantastic. And maybe you should look at becoming a postman. I mean, would that be boring if you had to walk the same route every day?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know really. I mean, I don't suppose that's quite a bad job, is it? A postman? I don't know.
Used to be a postman. I've been a postman on foot and in the van in some beautiful locations. And what appeals to me about seeing you shirt and tie, like old school postman with a shirt. I mean, probably not in the blazing heat of central Portugal, but I imagine they did a starched cotton shirt, a tie, and a hat with a shiny brass badge on it, with CTT on there. Is that what it is? And then you have a satchel, and you are delivering post around central Portugal, around your area, and that is such a beautiful community job as well, isn't it? You're checking in with everybody, those old folks who live up on the hill. What a beautiful thing that is. But then that's the rational mind, isn't it? Thinking, well, how can we maximize?
The thing is, you can change your mind, right? You can change your mind, and I'm going to make a video about this later, because it's almost like you don't want to break the spell by talking about it too much, but I'm prepared to share how I do it. Okay, because the technique I used to start walking is the same technique I used to stop drinking, and it's the same technique that I used to stop smoking. And it's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's a known technique, and I will make a video about it. But I've seen other people use it. So, for example, before this time, the fittest I've ever been was about going back 15, 20 years or something. But when I was in Australia traveling and doing fruit picking, and I worked in this packing shed, and our job was, it was like a big fruit sorting machine. And they had all the girls lined up on one side, and they were like packing the fruit into the boxes. They were grading it and putting it into boxes. And then the machine would come to me, and I would load the boxes onto the pallets, right? And every box weighed 25 kilos. So all day I would go, pallet.
It also sounds like an Australian disco with all the girls on one side.
What happens, of course, is you get super, super fit and super strong, Carl. And that's what you got to do. You think, oh, I'm getting paid for this mad workout, this mad aerobic and strength workout. Yeah. And a couple of guys even would come in for a couple of weeks on off season from the footy. To do it as training and make a bit of money. Yeah.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And lads used to work on building sites for much the same reason, right?
Yeah.
They earn some money.
You think it's a boring job, but if it's active, you also get fit at the same time. So, I mean, I've worked in some when I was traveling, I've worked in some horrible, like I worked in an industrial laundry once for a few weeks. And my job was, it was a machine, and the sheets would come down, and it had these two clips, and I would go click, click, press the button, click, click, press the button, click, click, press the button, and the clock would go backwards, man. You know, and I'd be like, this is just torture. There's people work there for 20 years, you know.
But that's mental training, though, isn't it? Yeah, I guess you learned something about how to handle that situation whilst being there, or you just quit.
I quit. Yeah.
But you didn't tell us how you gave up drinking and smoking, I don't think.
Well, I will tell you briefly. It's reprogramming your brain.
Yeah, okay, that's how all true transformation works that way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You
You've got to reprogram your brain. Yeah. So you know, every town you go to, there's those couple of people. You've probably noticed them who are walking around all the time, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Every town in the world I've ever lived in has these people.
And
I'm one of the people.
His name is Carlos here in San Martino. He walks and he bikes, and he's brown as a berry. He's amazing, and he says hello to everybody. He is a town character.
I'm one of them.
Are you? You are that guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I walk everywhere. I've always walked. That's what I do. I walk.
And that's how you've got to know people locally. That's how they've got to know you, presumably.
Yeah. I've already got a group of people who know me from the walking, you know, and it's really quick. And some of them are like people who write, like you start to become aware of the other people who are doing similar things as well, like cycling or jogging, or, you know. Do
you know what they call you? I mean, you know, you are the Portugeeza. That's your stage name, as it were, isn't it? And YouTube name. But have the locals got a name for you?
I don't know, but to be honest with you, I do wear. I don't know if you've seen my.
What do you wear? Okay, so that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3 hours a day I'm out there advertising, you know.
That's really good. So you are multitasking, aren't you? This is amazing.
Yeah.
You've got some great feedback coming in. Thank goodness we were able to talk about one subject, kind of, for about, I don't know, nearly 10 minutes.
But it's funny you were talking about diversity, because I think that's one of the things I love about this channel is it's diversity. But probably you've faced that where we're supposed to have a niche, aren't we? That's the general advice you get given, is have a niche. And I'm like, I can't do it, because I can't make a video every day about like I did a video about how to cook fried rice.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
you know, it got like 2,500 views, which for my channel is pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people like that. And so why not do a bit of cooking, you know? Because I think I know how to live kind of frugally and make these simple meals, and why not share that, you know? But
I think
what's that got to do with living in Portugal? Nothing. But
nothing.
Like
but you know? It has everything to do with you and the niche, the human niche that is the Portugeeza, Tony Bryant. And over time, you will be vindicated, I think, as a Wogan-esque character who did what he thought was right. And over time, it was proven to be the case, rather than listening to what you should be doing. And we all succumb to that. How many messages do you get a day saying, "Sir, I see your YouTube channel is not getting the hits it deserves. I can help you"? How many of those?
Yeah, quite a lot. And to be honest, I think a lot of it, I don't know. I don't want to say, but like some of them may be genuine and some of them even may be able to help me, but I kind of don't want it. I don't want it, you know.
And they argue with you, don't you? When you say, "No, thanks, I prefer organic growth." Yes, it's 100%. It's 150% organic growth. I can help you. Give me a try. And eventually I have to block some of those people. But anyway, let's not turn it into a YouTuber pity party here, because we've got Brani to talk to. And we'll play his single now. Let's play his single and chat to him after this. Have you heard this single yet, Tony?
I don't think so.
You are in for a treat right now. This is how to make a music video. Watch this, folks, and we'll see you in 2.5 glorious minutes of Brani and his new single, Love Spell. It's all about the love here on Good Morning Oh my word! Yes, here he is, the man himself, Brani. Good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Portugal show. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I am awesome. How are you guys?
You are
You
awesome.
are, you are awesome. You are awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I've got hair just like you, but I choose to shave it off.
Good man.
It's
Good
a treat.
man. Good man.
And he's even got a video about it. He actually does. He's got a video about that. Brani, how are you? How's it going with the new single?
Hey, Carl. Everything is going well. I'm very, very happy because, as you know, or as you might have known, we were supposed to release it on the 28th, which was a Friday.
Yep.
We did release it, but the party got canceled because you might remember it was raining cats and dogs. And so we had to postpone it for last Wednesday. It was an outside venue. And we thought, oh no, what's going to happen? But in the end, we had a very nice amount of people show up. It was great to have that kind of support. We made it a very, very fun show. There were a lot of laughs. There were a lot of good vibes. It's possible to see all the photos and things on my social media. So we are very, very happy. And I was just about promoting the single a little bit, showing it to people, and keep going as always, you know.
Fantastic. And we'll learn more about your message because you are such an uplifting man. I think that we were talking about niches earlier on. I think your niche is to be spreading love and joy through your music, and I think you do that so wonderfully. And we are delighted to have you here in Portugal.
Thank you. Thank you.
And unfortunately, it sounds like when you first launched a single, it was a rainy day, but you had one of the 200 days of sunshine that we get in Portugal, at least on the second launch.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's been downgraded now to 200.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
That might be an overestimate as well, the way things are going. But you had a great time, and the theme that I wrote about, because I love your music, and I was delighted to share the fact that you got a new single out here on the show and over at the Portugal Resident as well. And when I was writing about you, you were talking about this motif of the road trip and your life being, well, the metaphor of life being a road trip. Tell us more about that and how you see it, and a little bit about your background and your own personal road trip that brought you to Portugal.
Yeah. No, thanks. Good question. By the way, thank you for that article. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Basically, the idea behind that, and it's also something that my team helped me come up with, is my background is that in my first 18 years, I grew up in about 6 or 7 countries, you know? And so from the very, very beginning of my life, I started moving around, and it started feeling a lot like an adventure. And I kind of got this idea that the only way to go is forward, you know, and that it's always important to be positive. And that's what we wanted to transmit through my music, because that's basically how I write my music, based on my own personal experience, such as that. Yeah. And at the same time, I feel that in some way or another, everybody's life is kind of a road trip, a journey, or an adventure, you know. I believe even if you stay in your own 10 square miles or kilometers, your life is still an adventure. So much happens, etc. And so that's kind of the vibe and the image that we wanted to project, something that is real, to kind of project it into the brand and into the music, along with what I did in my last EP, as you might remember, Carl, with Let Love Grow, for which the whole idea behind it was for people to prioritize the things that make them happy, that the people that make them happy, the places, the activities, which is why, for an example, we chose to project that message, because my life in Portugal and how I came here was the result of me prioritizing doing my music, which had its ups and downs, and which brought me to my dream life, which is basically playing 4 or 5 shows a night in pubs, being close to the beach, surfing, having a lovely family, and having a lovely community here of both locals and expats supporting me, and just that exchange of energy, that exchange of supports. I was very inspired by that, and I wanted to project that in Let Love Grow and in Love Spell and in all of my music.
And I love that, and it's coming true, isn't it? I mean, there are a number of themes there that would be lovely to pick up on, and I'm sure Tony here, the Portugeeza, can relate to growing up in more than one country as a child, or having a diverse experience in childhood of moving around the world.
So where are you from, Brani?
I was born, and my parents are Croatian, so I'm originally Croatian. Yeah. But already at 4 or 5, we started moving, and that road trip of mine in those first 18 years took me to Finland, England, the USA, Germany, and eventually to the Netherlands as well. So all in those 18 years.
Yeah. But I guess why I'm asking is because I have a similar experience. And sometimes when people ask me that question, I'm like, oh God, because my accent doesn't really match where I automatically, because I was born in South London, in it. But as anyone will tell you, I don't sound anything like I'm from South London.
He's got the attitude, though. He's got the attitude.
So it's kind of like
that. Yeah, I get that a lot. It's like, oh, your accent, and then people try to place you. People try to place you, indeed. Yeah, very relatable. Very, very relatable, indeed.
Yeah, there's no short answer, right?
Yeah, and it's. I don't know if you have the same thing, but when people ask me where I'm from, it's not that I'm offended. It's like, oh no, this is gonna be complicated.
This again,
Because it's very, very hard to answer that question. It's a long story.
Sometimes I get tempted to say Australia because that'll just end it.
Yeah,
it's a lie. And I don't feel Australian, but that's my accent. It's difficult. I get it.
I feel you there, man. I feel you there. But hey, we're also. I feel that along with those complications, I feel that we're very rich. I'm sure you have a similar experience.
Sure, absolutely.
Because of those movings around and whatnot, like you got friends everywhere, which I think is a very, very big wealth, very big wealth. So
However, though, Brani, look, it sounds like your road tripping vibe and your great international sense of being has been somewhat checked by your arrival here in Portugal. You've fallen in love here. The country, I think, is slowly falling in love with you. I mean, those who see you, your infectious stage presence, your brilliant music, people who see you can relate to that straight away. And I think more and more people are finding out about that. And that's what I mean about the country is falling in love with you. And I'm sure he's delighted and very proud to have you as a resident here doing that.
Thank you.
How is that process going? I mean, do you see this as home for a little while now? And your road tripping days, you've pulled in for a sort of pit stop, or how would you describe Portugal as part of your journey?
Carl, that's a very good question, and I didn't get back to another part of what you asked me before, so just to give a little background to that. Sure. So the reason that I'm in this country is right about 2 years ago, my partner, who is Portuguese, she's actually from around the Lourinhã area, we were visiting her family, and a cousin of hers said, you guys should totally sign up Brani to the Portuguese American Idol, or Ídolos, as it's called here. And so we got in. It was a very crazy story because we were just recovering from COVID. We got in the last audition and we drove halfway across Europe from Germany. We made the last audition. We planned for me and for us to stay here for about a month and a half, see how the TV show goes and go back. However, that casting happened to be one of my favorite moments of my life. It was a beautiful electricity and vibration in the air. The jury was dancing. The whole camera crew was dancing. And the production team put me on TV a lot. And this opened up many doors for me. So after about 2 months of being here, we decided, why the hell would we go back? Let's stay here. And so my entrance into this country was very, very kind of spectacular or grand, if you will, because there was TV support. I came in right at that sweet spot before summer, which is the right time to start asking and looking for gigs. So it all happened very, very spontaneously,
That's it. And there you are, Portuguese telly, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's Tatanka from Black Mamba, who's been on Eurovision. That's right next to me on the left is Ana Bacalhau, who is really a local legend. She
what a name! Ana Bacalhau.
Yeah, exactly. Then on the right is Joana Marques, who is actually the #1 or #2 comedian in Portugal right now, who I had the privilege to open up my release party Let Love Grow for, and that's Martin Tavares, who is like a grand maestro of classical music, And this experience, like I said, it opened a lot of doors for me and basically got us to stay. Like 3 or 4 months in, I was already speaking broken Portuguese, having regular shows, and really integrating into the society. And since then, there's been some cool things, like I released that EP, I opened up for a few more big artists, and we keep doing things. And basically, to cut the long story short, Carl, I have to guiltily admit to you that I'm so cozy and so settled that even driving to Lisbon sometimes is a hassle. So, which is like just about an hour away. So my road trip has finally, which I've been projecting in my social media, my road trip has found a base, and I feel so at home here. This is the place where I would have children. Also, for that context, I have a Portuguese family, so that's also a big factor. So I just feel great here. I want to stay here, grow here. I'm very open to going and touring in all around the world. Knock on wood, right? I've definitely found my base here, and I really like this country on so many different levels. You know,
that's so beautiful to hear, and of course we understand why. That's wonderful, and I totally feel you. We can become very local, can't you? I've got a mate who lives in the Algarve, who I know from UK, and we've both been here for years, and we saw each other in the UK, but we haven't seen each other since we've been here for, I don't know, 5 years or so. And that's because he lives in the Algarve. It's just too far away.
Yeah. You know, back in Germany or in the Netherlands, for an example, it wouldn't be that different for me to drive for 2 hours to see a friend.
Right.
You know, but here somehow everything really kind of grounds you, and there's so much going on in your own 10 or 20 square kilometers that, you feel more settled indeed. At least that's my own subjective experience, you know.
Well, staying with this and road trip in a state of mind, that's absolutely right, I think. It is a state of mind. And of course, you know, you'll be using this as a base to tour the world as all goes well and develops with your career. And also, I mean, it's your thing. It's how you see the world. It's what you're sharing with people. And I think, is it fair to say that you're encouraging other people to do that as well? It's not just like, look at me, I'm the road tripping rock star. You're sharing that as a way of seeing life, aren't you, with other people?
Absolutely, and that's the whole idea, and that's kind of what's behind my message. It's to go for the things that inspire you. That being said, people are different, so some people may not be road tripping people, but like I said, you can have adventures in your own 10 square kilometers playing chess. The point is for you to go past your own boundaries to make yourself happier. You know what I mean? Whether that is backpacking around the world, playing an instrument, playing chess. Like, the point is to go for the things that really inspire you. And in my case, that is indeed what you said, road tripping and playing music. For someone else, it might be something else. But the point is, go for it. I like to say, let love grow, which means let the things in your life that inspire you grow. Don't be afraid. Go for them, you know?
Loving that. Me and Tony, I'm going to speak on behalf of the Portuguese here. We're loving that message. We need more of that in the world.
Brani, I have to say, I loved in the video when you kicked that table over, because there's not enough of that.
Me too.
When I was a young fella, not that long ago, I remember when rock stars were throwing TVs out of hotel windows, and all of that seems to have stopped now. So I'm very partial to a bit of table over kicking. That was possibly my favorite part of that excellent video. So
thank you. We're very proud of the video.
Who did the video? Because it was obviously professional production.
Yeah. Who did the
video? Thank you. By the way, that's our video crew who works a lot also with our municipality over in Lourinhã. They're called Alva. They're very talented. And I would just like to take this moment to give a shout out to the lovely couple of the video, because believe it or not, guys, they never took an acting class ever.
Really?
Wow.
And I think they pulled it off very, very naturally. You know, they look really good. They're really projecting a vibe. They're good friends of ours from Ribamar, which is around Lourinhã, local young couple. And I think they did a really, really fantastic job.
So they are a couple, are they?
They are a couple, because we also felt, Carl, that for those kinds of scenes, you want to be with somebody that you already feel comfortable with. You know what I mean?
It came across. Yeah. Love was definitely growing, and we saw it.
Yeah, it's a good video when it's a story like that. I think that's quite important in a video, for it to have a kind of some kind of motion, like a beginning and a process. So it was really cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Let's have a look at the comments coming in. Wow, that's a great song, but excellent video. I love the husky voice rock theme. I think that is meant to say they're fantastic, Brani. Thank you for that. Love the ride, cruising in the cabrio in the summertime. Squire of the Shire's loving the theme of the video as well. And by Randy, spotting. A lot of old geezers did spot this. Nice cabriolet, rock and roll, baby. Did you notice that straight away, Tony?
Well, again, that's something else I would comment on. A lot of rock videos and pop videos and rap videos in particular, they go for this kind of flashy, the kind of $1 million Mercedes look and all that. So it's nice to see a kind of more down to earth, fun. It had a real fun vibe to it. That's what I really liked.
Yeah.
It just felt
Thanks.
like a lot of fun, you know, and it was kind of a bit at the same time as being kind of dreamy and sunny, it was kind of down to earth as well. So I thought it was really
relatable.
cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's also our objective. We're really trying to show where we are right now, and we're very happy with where we are, you know. So indeed, we had a lot of fun because all of these people in the video are our friends, and that's also what we want to project. You know, we're not too preoccupied with trying to show that we've got a Mercedes or something.
It comes across definitely. You know,
Yeah.
the best of both worlds. You know, let love grow and love where you are right now. Definitely coming across from the Brani message there. The Portuguese Springsteen, you're getting at that comparison. Pretty awesome, isn't it? And João Ernesto also asking how many languages you speak. Portuguese has just been added to repertoire, isn't it?
Yeah, I speak Croatian, English, German, and pretty solid, very solid Portuguese already for 2 years. In my road trip, I also learned Finnish when I was little because we lived in Finland, and then forgot Croatian. And my parents were annoyed because they couldn't understand me. So then they put me in an English kindergarten in Finland. So I, in the meantime, forgot Finnish. But they were like, you know, let's put him into a kindergarten with the language that we can understand back to us, you know. And then I had to relearn Croatian later, etc. But yeah, so right now it's 4 languages.
Brani, isn't there some relationship between Croatian and Finnish? Isn't that like there's some common ground between? I mean, because I know Finland is the outlier in Scandinavia, isn't it? Because I lived in Denmark and Sweden for a while, and you know, I remember going to a course in Sweden that was taught by a Danish trainer, and everyone could understand the guy because they're so similar. But then Finland is just completely, Finnish language is completely different. Yeah, and I heard that it has more in common with like Hungarian and kind of down that line.
I'll tell you something, it's a very different language group, and it's an old language group. It's not having anything in common with Croatian as far as I know, because Croatian is quite it's a Slavic language. However, you heard right about Hungarian, because Finnish, Hungarian, and Estonian are a very strange and unique outlier in the language groups of Europe. They're not in the Latin, the Slavic, or the Germanic one, you know? And it's very old and very, very unusual, like you said. But yes, so not too much relation with Croatian, but with Hungarian indeed, and Estonian. Yeah, but very interesting topic, actually. It's a very interesting language.
I'm an English teacher, so I could always go off on some tangent about language groups, but probably
you just
Carl's giving me that look. Like, please stop.
Come on. But you should add to your list the language of love, and the international language of music should be on your list as well, there, Brani. And you mentioned your mum and dad. One of the inspirations that you cite when I was researching your backstory was that you got a mixtape from your dad, a cassette. I mean, immediately thought of the opening scene of Guardians of the Galaxy where you put in the.
I was thinking the same. Yeah.
And what was on that tape that your dad gave you of the rock classics? Can you tell us what a few of the tunes were?
Of course. I think he gave it to me when I was about 9 or 10. And, you know, it was a combination of a lot of things of our lives. So there were 3 Zeppelin tracks from the second Zeppelin album, you know. Right. There was a lot of George Thorogood and the Destroyers, because we had just come back from the States, you know. There was some Bowie, some Iggy Pop. Of course, like, I think the first side began with "We Will Rock You, Queen," and the second song was "Smoke on the Water." You know, that kind of stuff, and I was just blown away. And by the way, I like many kind of music genres, you know, but that one is really where the love for music comes from for me, because of course it's a great craft, rock and roll music, no doubt about it. Great production, great musicianship. But what I get most from rock and roll music of that time is actually the spirit of it, which I think kind of came into me, which is the self-expression, the going your own way, the freedom, you know. That's what I find most inspirational about the music of that time, 60s and 70s rock. So it really, really made me fall in love with that kind of spirit, if you will, you know.
I totally understand that. It makes complete sense. And I want to see that in the movie of your life as well, because that's going to work so well with you listening to that mixtape. Just finally, and I thought you were only going to pop on for a few minutes and we were going to play the single, but it's been great to hang out with you and have a chat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, likewise.
Where next? How can people stay in touch and find out where you're playing next, Brani?
Yeah, good question, Carl. Just two things. So number one, I'm announcing all of my stuff on social media. So if you look for Brani, BRANI.PT on Instagram, you'll find me. And if you look for Brani / my full name, which I'll send to you later, because it's a bit longer, so people won't remember it. I announce all of my stuff on Facebook and on Instagram. Now I'm playing pub shows around Oeste all summer. However, the big next stop on my road trip is going to be on the 8th of September when I release my next single, which, by the way, will be a continuation of this single, Love Spell, at Prohibition Bar, where we're going to organize an awesome party. Exactly. So we're very, very excited about that. We're very excited to be cooperating for them on that. We like their vibe. We like their image, you know, and I think we're both kind of different. So it's going to be a good little combination of forces. And I really can't wait for that party. So
that's the 8th of September.
That's the 8th of September. Come, it's going to be awesome.
All right, well, there's the thing then. If you've ever wanted to visit Obidos and you've heard about the Prohibition Bar and now you want to hear Brani's music, that weekend would be an amazing weekend to come to Obidos and spend the weekend, hear some music, have a drink in the Prohibition Beer Garden, have some amazing food there. It's going to be an incredible weekend, Brani. I'll do my utmost. If I'm not booked up anywhere else, I will be there with you. I think
no worries, man. I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for the support.
Well,
Brady, you did well with the socials, my friend. You really did well.
You think so?
That.
Are you looking at it now?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It looks awesome. I think it's going to be good for you. But I also think, wow, you got lucky with your name, Brani PT, right?
Yeah, as well.
You must have thought the gods were smiling on you when you went for that. Because,
but let me tell you something. Thank you for your compliment, but that compliment absolutely goes to my partner and manager, Christiana. Right?
Yeah,
she's that special girl who joined my road trip some years ago. That's her doing. She's doing all of the social media, and she's got such good ideas. And she also announced the next steps in the last release. And I don't want to take too much of your time, Carl. I just want to give you a little teaser.
Mate, absolutely fine.
I just want to give you a little teaser that after that, on this, I can't reveal too much yet, also because it's in the pre-planning page. But on the 6th of October, right? We want to do something back for this amazing community that's given us so much. We're actually organizing a festival called the Let Love Grow Festival. No. And I will leave you. Yes, but I will leave you with that. More on that later, because now the next step is that single release, but it's going to be awesome, and we're very excited about it.
Well, it's about 20,000 steps from where he lives, the Portugeeza, to Obidos. So hopefully he'll be able to join us for that. Brani, you legend! Fantastic to talk to you this morning. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon, guys. All the best. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Wow, what a legend, eh?
He is awesome. He's awesome. What a character as well. Yeah.
So
I like him. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you noticed in the picture. I don't know. I can't remember if it's PC or not to talk about people's height anymore. But I noticed he must be about 8 feet tall. Even in the camera, he's obviously the top of his head's touching the ceiling.
When he was talking about starting a family in Portugal, I was thinking of a beautiful picture of him, 8 feet tall, music on that mountain, and a tiny little baby on his chest. That's going to be the most beautiful image.
Yeah. He's a big guy. Because I noticed the comedian that he was talking about in the picture was standing on quite a high step and was still only up to his.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. Look,
there you go.
Standing on the step.
He didn't want to be outdone, did he? The guy, the panelist, did not want to be outdone.
Well, the thing is, I was about to comment. I was going to say that'd be me standing on that step, and I thought, I don't know if I know the guy well enough to comment on
Next time. Look, we've got mindful moments and God Squad tips of the day. Let's do that God Squad tip of the day to go with your 20,000 steps. Making a little exercise, a regular habit, is the best way to make sure you will do it. I'm certain if I didn't walk to enjoy my coffee most days, I probably wouldn't do it. What treat can you give yourself to encourage you to do some physical activity? For the Portugeezer, he gets to advertise himself for 3 hours. Maybe you need to build that into your life. Note to self, coffee is a lot cheaper in Portugal. That's true. It's depressing going out for a coffee in the UK, isn't it? You have to spend about 20 quid once you've got a bit of cake as well. Bon dia, he says, training this afternoon, then home early to pack the car. 5 a.m. start tomorrow. Should be a great weekend in Zandvoort. It won't be a great weekend in the Netherlands. It's going to be quite miserable over there. And we all know why, Portugeeza. Mindful moment. Patience is a form of wisdom. It demonstrates that we understand and accept the fact that sometimes things must unfold in their own time. And that's from a book with the amazing title, Full Catastrophe Living, which brings us full circle to a world that doesn't make sense sometimes. John Kabat-Zinn's book there. And to finish, finally, I'm sorry if we didn't get to any of your comments, many of which were fabulous this morning. And as you could see, we had a packed show with loads to talk about. And if you feel underrepresented, join me on the screen sometime, and we'll make sure that you feel fully represented and self-expressed. Mindful dad joke: the unwritten rules of life. 1 and 2.
Oh, God.
Hoo-ah!
Hey, that just reminds me. Listen, on a serious note.
Yeah.
Just this is a serious note about checking. You know, those of you who've got insurance in Portugal. Sorry, just reminded me. I'll get a bit serious now. But I checked my insurance policy the other day, and you won't believe what I found out. If someone
What did you find out, Tony?
Okay, well, if someone burgles my house and takes away my blankets, you never believe what will happen.
No, what will happen if somebody breaks into your house and takes away all your blankets, Tony?
I won't be covered.
Bye. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao. Goodbye to him. We'll see him again next month. We didn't get to hear him play the ukulele. Maybe he'll do it for us next month. Ciao, ciao. Have a great day. Bye for now. See you on the webinars tonight.
Bom dia, Portugal! In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.